And this afternoon, we are celebrating one of the newest listings on the exchange, Diversified Energy, which will be ringing the closing bell in less than a half an hour. And to celebrate the occasion, we have Diversified Energy's branding all over this iconic building. From the cubes behind me above the trading floor, CEO Rusty Hutson will ring the closing bell and close out the U.S. equity markets for the day. Now, Diversified Energy has established itself as a big name in the oil and energy space using a unique strategy. The company established was in 2001, acquires older, minimally producing oil and gas wells. It finds ways to make them more productive and keeps them in operation for as long as possible. In fact, Diversified Energy is the largest owner of U.S. oil and gas wells, operating more than 70,000 of them. Diversified Energy currently operates in several different states within the Appalachian Basin and central region of the United States. The company's corporate headquarters are located in Birmingham, Alabama, as well as in London. Now, the company began trading here at the New York Stock Exchange in mid-December under the ticker symbol DEC. Diversified Energy took one of the more unique paths, though, on its way to Wall Street. While the company is U.S.-based, Diversified Energy has international ties, originally listing on the London Stock Exchange before achieving a U.S. listing here at the NYSE. In accomplishing this, Diversified Energy joined the NYSE via direct listing, a method in which a company can offer investment opportunities directly to the public without using an investment bank or intermediary. Meanwhile, they also provide more thorough breakdowns of direct listings later on in the broadcast, including which company was the first to join at the NYSE via direct listing and when that took place. But back to Diversified Energy, the company has been shaking things up in the oil and gas sector for over 2 decades, and here are some of the most noteworthy dates. In 2001, Rusty Hutson began the business by purchasing a package of natural gas wells in West Virginia. Beginning in 2010, Diversified Energy ramped up its expansion efforts, establishing a presence in the Appalachian Basin, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, where among the states where Diversified Energy acquired gas and oil wells. And then in 2017, the company completed its initial public offering and began trading on the London Stock Exchange. Fast forward to 2021, Diversified Energy made more key acquisitions, this time in the central region, the company purchasing natural gas and oil wells in Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Finally, Diversified Energy made its latest noteworthy move when it began trading here at the New York Stock Exchange less than a month ago. In 2003, it was actually a particularly noteworthy year for Rusty Hutson as he was inducted into West Virginia University Business Hall of Fame this past August. Wow, so a lot of major milestones there. And as the trading week is coming to an end, let's take a look at how the markets are faring this afternoon. Now, today's session has been volatile after the Bureau of Labor Statistics released its December jobs report this morning. Now, the data coming in is hotter than expected, with the U.S. economy adding 216,000 jobs compared to the 170,000 economists polled by Dow Jones were expecting. And the major averages are on pace to their 9-week winning streak, and that's come to an end. So we're just getting started. Not only will you hear from Rusty Hutson's remarks from the boardroom in just a little bit, but he'll also be joining us to discuss Diversified Energy's 2024 strategy. And the New York Stock Exchange's head of international capital markets, Cassandra Sire, will break down exactly how common these processes are from the exchange's side. And with the Northeast storm on the watch, ICE's meteorologist will also tell us about how much snow is expected to fall and what recent weather trends mean for natural gas and oil companies. So a lot to get to, but Diversified Energy will bring investors into the weekend with closing out the U.S. equity markets in less than 30 minutes. But before we take you to the boardroom, I want to give you all a little history lesson about this iconic institution. For those of you who may not know, the New York Stock Exchange, or the NYSE as many call it, traces its roots back to 1792 when a group of traders gathered beneath the buttonwood tree energy on Wall Street. They formed an agreement known as the Buttonwood Agreement to create a centralized marketplace for buying and selling stocks and bonds. But little did they know that this humble beginning would lay the foundation for one of the world's largest stock exchanges. Now, fast forward 231 years, we now have over 2,400 listed companies, and the NYSE has around $40 trillion in total market cap. The exchange has become synonymous with corporate giants as it hosts some of the most recognizable names like Coca-Cola, IBM, and Disney, offering investors the opportunity to invest in well-established, trusted companies. But beyond its role of capital formation, the NYSE also plays a critical role providing liquidity to the market. Now, liquidity refers to the ease of buying and selling stocks, and the exchange provides a centralized platform where buyers and sellers can meet. And what sets us apart from any other exchange in the world is the fact that we have a specialized trader, also known as a designated market maker, or DMM. They are an invaluable resource here for the companies who are listed with us. Again, over 2,400 companies listed with us that help navigate the volatility of the market. And again, to commemorate the moment of today, we are going to give you a play-by-play of what actually takes place in the boardroom. We are going to see Diversified Energy's co-founder and CEO, again, Rusty Hutson, presented with the NYSE medallion, the FTB gavel, alongside the listing certificate. And I'm going to toss it over to Chris Taylor to continue our coverage from the boardroom in just a moment. But like I was saying, what sets us apart from any other exchange in the world is the fact that we have that specialized designated market maker here on the trading floor, an invaluable resource. A lot of people don't know that we have around 200 traders actively placing in orders, the orders that have come in overnight as we get ready to open up the U.S. equity markets and then finalize the orders and the volatility of the market that has been happening throughout the day as we get ready to close out the U.S. equity markets in just a few moments. But again, I'm going to toss it over to Chris Taylor, head of listings here at the NYSE, from the boardroom. Let's take a listen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Taylor, Global Head of Listings here at the NYSE. On behalf of all of my colleagues, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the exchange as we celebrate the December 18th, 2023 listing of Diversified Energy on the NYSE. Welcome, everyone. So this has been a real interesting journey for this company to get to the New York Stock Exchange. It all started, and correct me if I have any of these dates wrong, back in 2017 with the listing on the London Stock Exchange AIM market. You're now a FTSE 250 company, and the next step of this company's great growth and great success is being here at the New York Stock Exchange. So we're very happy to be your new partner in this journey. And I want to welcome you to Lower Manhattan as well. I know we have a lot of first-time visitors here at the exchange. And when you leave after the bell ceremony, and we have a lot of fun, take a look around this neighborhood. There's a statue of George Washington outside. That's actually where he was sworn in as his country's first president in 1789. It's where the first Capitol stood. It's where the Supreme Court sat for the first time. And for us in the financial markets, where Hamilton started the Treasury Department. Here we are 232 years later. And so much has changed in the capital markets in the world. But the one thing that has remained the same, and that is the New York Stock Exchange welcoming great companies to the corner of Wall and Broad Street. And the only reason we can lay claim to that history is because of our listed companies, 2,400 companies from 47 countries around the world. So from all of us, thank you for coming here to the exchange. You have your rightful place in that community now. We look forward to a real fruitful partnership. So the only way we know how to celebrate a new listing here at the New York Stock Exchange is to ring the bell of the NYSE. So without further ado, I'd like to call up your CEO, and more importantly to us, at least for the next half hour, today's bell ringer, Rusty Hutson. Rusty, come on.
All right, well, hopefully a primary listing here in the not too distant future. So not just a partner. 2 to 3 minutes, so that's, as my wife will tell you, that's tough on me. But really, if you're here today in this room with us, you had a very, very important part in helping us get to this point. A lot of our advisors that are here, both investment bankers, legal, lawyers, we love our lawyers, but lots of different people that are here that have been an integral part in all the processes and the things that we've really, it's been a big process. It's been 2 years in the making. So we thank you. We thank our advisors, all the folks that work with us on a day-to-day basis. Also want to thank our finance folks, our finance, accounting, the people in the office that are here with us today, and some that aren't. But they have put no other thing to call it elbow grease into a process that has been extremely difficult. In fact, I was talking to one of our equity capital markets partners here, Ed, and he said he only knows of maybe 2, I think, Ed, is what you said, 2 times, 3 times that this has occurred, what we're doing right now. So as normal, we're a trailblazer. We love to trailblaze. But I want to thank you guys, all you finance and accounting guys. You guys have been tremendous. You've been patient, not always understanding what we're trying to do and how we get there. But I truly, truly appreciate every one of you and thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work. 3 other people, my family, my wife, who's standing right over there, sacrifice a lot to get to this point. I thank you. My kids, who have given up a lot of me over the years. It's not easy. I get asked this question all the time. Why can't I do what you do? I said, well, you better strap it on. I said, because people will think you're an overnight success. It's the longest night of your life, okay? It's tough. This is a tough job. You have to persevere to get to this point. I'll tell you that. And that's why not everybody does it. Secondly, Mr. Post, he and I started this thing back in 2001 with no idea in the world that we'd end up here, for sure. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the help and the assistance and all the things that you've done for us over those extended years. So all of those folks truly do appreciate. Lastly, Brad, you're a foxhole person. I'd go in a foxhole with you anytime. He's been here since the 2016, the IPO, and the work that we've done together and the battles and everything that we've accomplished together. You're a foxhole. I wouldn't go to battle with anybody else. I just want to thank you all. We appreciate everything that you've done, and there's more to come. We're not done by any stretch. This was the first step. We've got more to do, and we've got more to do this year. So strap it on, and let's get ready to do it as we go through 2024. Thank you.
So we have a lot of traditions here. The most prominent one, of course, is the bell that we're going to ring just before 4 p.m. to close the markets. But every day we strike a medallion for our bell ringer. So, Rusty, I want to present this to you. The front of this medallion is the facade of the exchange, 6 pillars that symbolize free markets all over the world, that beautiful Diversified Energy banner hanging down from it today. And on the reverse side is the Buttonwood tree, where those traders started the exchange back in 1792. Welcome to the NYSE. Thank you, Rusty. Appreciate it. Awesome. Place that down. One more thing. This is the most special presentation that we make to our companies. Come on over here, Rusty. Yeah, one more thing. This is the initial certificate of listing that officially welcomes Diversified Energy Company to the greatest community of companies on earth. Thank you, Rusty. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, when you go to Birmingham, that's hanging high on your headquarters walls.
It'll be there, believe me.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to turn the webcast over to my colleague, Trinity. She'll be your host from here on in, and we'll see everybody on the trading floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Chris. Now, again, we just heard from VP of NYSE Listed and Services, Chris Taylor, along with Rutzi Huston, who is Diversified Energy's co-founder and CEO, giving an extremely heartfelt, emotional speech right there, talking about the significance of today, what it means, but also excited to kick off the year with their listing here at the New York Stock Exchange. Now, switching gears a little bit, one piece of economic data Diversified Energy and all oil and gas companies companies are keeping an eye on is the price of crude oil. It's something investors here at the New York Stock Exchange are watching very closely too. In 2023, the price of WTI crude oil was volatile, peaking as high as $94 a barrel before ending the year at roughly $74 a barrel amid OPEC Plus's oil output cutting efforts. Now, currently the price of crude oil is sitting at right around that mark, slightly below $75 a barrel, and weather plays a significant role as well when it comes to natural gas and oil, but wintry conditions will be making headlines all through the weekend. Dave Morgulin, is that how you say it? I want to get it right.
Very close.
Very close. I thought I'd give it a shot. Anyway, he is ICE's meteorologist, and he's joining us now to talk about all things weather, how it impacts the market. I mean, this is your first time joining NYSE TV Live. Welcome to the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you, Trinity. It's great to be here.
It's absolutely great to have you. Now, I want to talk about, obviously, the Northeast corridor. I mean, this is about 700 days without seeing more than an inch of snow. We were just talking about how Christmas, in fact, hasn't seen a white Christmas in about 6 years. And, you know, what role does this play in the overall market?
Well, in general, the snow is certainly related to the, cold weather, especially in the Northeast United States. And really for the last couple of years, like you said, we've had this snow drought, unprecedented, like 700 days or close to 700 days in New York and the Philadelphia corridor. And these records go back like over 100 years. And it's really been linked to the relatively warm weather we've had. It's also climate cycles too. We've been in a La Nina kind of pattern up until this year. And typically with La Nina patterns, you don't get as many of the coastal storms, sometimes known as nor'easters. So a combination of factors here, but overall, yeah, it's led to the snow drought we've seen.
Now, tell me what we're going to see this weekend. I know I thought I was going to see snow here in the city personally. I was hearing weather reports that we were going to see somewhere around an inch of snow on Sunday, but you're saying that's not the case.
Unfortunately not. So if you're a snow lover, it looks like the I-95 corridor, so really like New York City, Philadelphia, and then real like southern Connecticut. Looks like it's going to be mostly a mix or rain, very little snow. We have a chance to get that 1 inch, which would end that streak, but it doesn't look very good. But once you get a little bit north and west of the cities into the suburbs and such like that, it does look like we're going to see a significant snowfall. So northern New Jersey, interior Connecticut, New York, 6 to 12 inches. Probably the higher elevations, like you get into the Catskills, Poconos.
Yeah.
Some of those places could see a foot of snow.
I have to say, I am a snow lover. That's why I moved here, from the Vegas desert on the West Coast. But, let's talk specifically about how the weather, how this weather drought that we're seeing, like when it comes to snow, is really impacting the oil and gas sector.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look more broadly at the United States and the temperatures here, it was a very warm December. So December, from a national standpoint, was about the third warmest since 1980,
wow.
And it had a significant impact on the natural gas market. The gas prices have been, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, somewhere in that range. Now, it does look like, though, maybe there are some changes in the horizon. So, in the last few days, we've seen the models suggest more colder weather, especially as we get into the 6 to 10, 11 to 15 day period. So that does suggest that maybe there could be some changes too, and it is starting to have some impacts on the natural gas market. We've seen prices creep up closer to $3 in the past couple days.
Okay, so you're talking about what we can expect to see within like the next 10 to 15 day mark, but I mean, what do you see coming up for the rest of 2024? I mean, as we're seeing the weather conditions shift so much in past years.
Well, we mentioned earlier that in the last couple of years we were in a La Nina pattern, and that kind of switched. So now we're in this a strong El Nino pattern. Historically, with El Ninos of this magnitude, it does lean toward warmer than normal temperatures, lower than normal demand across the United States, and in particular across the Midwest and Northern Plains. So, although we are seeing some potential colder than normal weather and higher than normal demand in the 6 to 15 day period, it does look like overall, as we think about February into March, the probability is that we're going to still have lower than normal demand for the country.
Well, a lot of key takeaways there, Dave. Thank you so much for joining me.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Now we're going to switch gears. Diversified Energy is one of the latest companies to join the exchange via direct listing, and other companies have also taken this path here at the NYSE. So let's check it out. Going public. It's a huge milestone for a company that represents years of labor, efforts, and love from the company's founders, early employees, and investors. When you join the NYSE community of over 2,400 listed companies, you're equipped with the right tools to meet market demand, attract investors, and continue a trajectory for growth. And there's more than one way you could go public. In 2018, Spotify was our first company to go public via NYSE direct listing. Since then, companies of all sizes, from Roblox to ZipRecruiter, have taken advantage of this new way of listing on the largest equities exchange in the world. The New York Stock Exchange direct floor listing started off as an idea between the Spotify executive team and the NYSE management team. Together, they wanted to harness new ways to pursue going public. This kicked off a years-long process with regulators, bankers, and so much more. The story is captured in Insider Chief Finance Correspondent Dakin Campbell's book, Going Public. He spoke with Inside the Ice House's Josh King last year.
Yeah, so here's where the NYSE comes into the story. It's October 2016. McCarthy has moved from Stockholm back to New York City, and then he gets the then NYSE president, Tom Farley. What goes down at that meeting between Barry and Tom, and what does Farley do next?
He goes down the elevator and walks out onto the street. You know, he calls his boss, Jeff Sprecher, and he says, Jeff, you'll never believe this meeting I just had. You know, Spotify wants to directly list their shares. They want to cut out the investment banks. You know, Sprecher, who's been around a long time, says like, oh, that sounds interesting, but I bet the banks will be involved. You know, Spotify will need them in many other realms of the financial markets than just an IPO, and will eventually have to kick in the banks.
But what's the difference? A few key factors.
In a nutshell, direct listing provides a way for companies to go public without a traditional underwritten offering or an issuance of new shares to the public.
Now, without the book building process, how is the reference price set?
Sure. So the reference price is really based on conversations that the New York Stock Exchange has with the financial advisors that are working on the transaction, and that's disclosed to the marketplace on the day before the listing day of the transaction. I think one of the benefits of the direct listing is that there really is no difference. Once the company is public, it's public just like any other public issuer. It has the same regulatory and reporting requirements. The main difference is just the fact that, unlike an IPO, there is no underwriter, so there's no stabilization activity in the aftermarket, and there's no underwriter that's been providing any other type of service. Very similar to a direct listing, the direct listing plus primary raise really just allows an issuer to sell shares itself, or primary shares, in the opening auction instead of or in addition to the selling shares that are being sold by the selling stakeholders. I would say that it's another option that issuers have as they consider other alternatives of being able to actually access the public markets, whether that's SPACs, IPOs, or a direct listing.
No two companies are the same. Each will have its own unique, exciting story about the process of going public. And now, thanks to the innovation inside the New York Stock Exchange, there are now many ways to get you on this podium. We are now on the trading floor. I am joined now with Rusty, who again is the CEO and co-founder of Diversified Energy today. I mean, I was listening to your speech in the boardroom. It was extremely heartfelt. It obviously is such a significant milestone you're achieving today. What does this mean to you being here?
Well, I mean, I was just telling the gentleman coming down, this is where everybody attains to be at the end of the day. So for us, already being listed in London and having the opportunity now to be part of the largest market in the world, it says a lot about our company and the people that work for us.
And you know, you said that you're excited about hitting the ground running. It's 2024. What are some of the biggest goals that you're trying to achieve?
Well, we want to be part of the M&A consolidation efforts that will take place in our industry this year. We think there's a lot of opportunities, and being part of this and having access to capital here in the U.S. will help us to meet those goals.
Now, obviously, you listed with us officially in December. Why was December the right time to achieve your dual listing?
Well, we've been working on this for a couple years and trying to figure out if there was the right time to do it. We finally just made a decision. We're just going to pull the trigger and get it done. And the value has already shown up in just the daily liquidity in the shares, and the daily trading volume has increased substantially.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. You're about 6 minutes out from closing out the U.S. equity markets, and the bell waits for no one, so I got to let you go so you do your job.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure speaking with you. Take care, and congratulations again. We're going to actually bring in Cassandra Sire right now, who plays an extremely vital role here at the New York Stock Exchange. I was just saying how you play such an integral part here at what we do at the NYSE, especially for the international community. Tell everyone what you do here.
Sure. Hi, my name is Cassandra Sire. I'm head of international capital markets. Basically, my team and I are responsible for attracting new listings to the New York Stock Exchange from outside of the United States.
And you know, obviously we were talking about how Diversified Energy was listed in London, and obviously now being a part of the NYSE community of over 2,400 listed companies is extremely significant. Can you speak to the broader perspective of the international community here at the NYSE?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what this listing means specifically?
Oh, sure. So, you know, there are 2,400 companies, as you mentioned, globally, and more than 25% are non-US. So it's a big number. Over 500 are non-US companies. And Diversified Energy in particular is very important to us. It really showcases what a great way for us to help partner with a company that has presence in both, in UK and as well as US. And we have seen, this is quite a common trend lately for companies who are listed already elsewhere to come and list at the NYSE. So we call this dual listing.
And you said that it's a fairly common process, especially these days, but let's talk more about direct listings. How common is a direct listing here at the NYSE?
It's getting more common, I would say. We love to embrace innovation in general to help companies come and list to various forms. One way is traditional IPO, another way is direct listing, and then we also have the DSPAC way for companies to come through a DSPAC transaction. But a direct listing is, basically a company's coming in but not issuing additional ordinary shares. And in this particular case, Diversified Energy is already listed in London, and their additional U.S. listing really helps them in a few ways. One is to help them, tap into the deepest liquidity that is available here at the New York Stock Exchange. We are the largest exchange in the world. Access, the most sophisticated investors, attract a broad group of equity analysts, and also really obtain an acquisition currency.
And we're hitting the ground running, and this is such a great way to kick off 2024. Tell me from an international standpoint, what can we expect for this new year?
Well, I'm really excited about 2024. It's been really quiet in 2022, 2023, relatively quiet. 2024, I expect to see a much more robust pipeline. And we have actually been selected by several companies to list here at the NYSE. They're just waiting for the right timing.
So exciting. I mean, is there anything specifically that stands out to you for 2024 that you're most looking forward to?
I really want to make sure that companies are, leveraging our resources, using our platform, engaging with us early so that, we are here to help them navigate the path toward, listing on the New York Stock Exchange. But I'm excited about the year. I think it is time for us to see more action in the IPO market.
And speaking of helping companies navigate the path to, an IPO here at the NYSE, what sort of economic factors play a significant role in making that timeline?
I mean, it is quite different for every company, but generally speaking, I think volatility needs to be at a pretty low state. And a lot of people are watching what central banks are doing on the interest rate side for 2024. And then valuation, it's kind of the equilibrium between what investors are willing to pay and what issuers are willing to accept.
A lot of important key points there, Cassandra. Thank you so much for joining me, but the bell waits for no one, so we got to tune into that.
Absolutely, we're ready for that. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you later. Okay, well, that just about wraps it up for us on NYSE TV Live. Thank you all for tuning in, and we're going to tune in to the opening bell. We're about 30 seconds out, so again, everybody is gathering on the bell podium, getting ready. We're probably getting images of that right now. All eyes are going to be on Diversified Energy. Millions of people from around the world are tuning in just to see them close out the U.S. equity markets. Now we're about 30 seconds out, so let's take a look at everybody right now utilizing this opportunity with our in-house photography team gathering on the bell podium. Chris Taylor right there is explaining to them how this works. We're going to see them about 15 seconds out. Push down that button, hold it down for 15 seconds as we close out the markets. Again, all eyes are going to be on Diversified Energy today. Around 100 million people could be tuning in to this moment, seeing who's closing out the markets. Look, we're getting a few laughs as we prepare. We're just about 15 seconds out now, and they are getting some photos taken. The crowd is going wild. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to follow us at NYSE. We'll see you next time.
brands speak for themselves. The strongest brands stand the test of time. We are so excited to welcome you to our community. Today is all about you.
We've never lost sight of what we're trying to do and deliver that mission.
Going through this experience with my partners and my families has been unbelievable.
We imagined something that didn't exist yet, and we believed that we could do it.
You're going to look back on this accomplishment as one of the finest you've ever done.
I want you to know that the best is yet to come.
Just a few minutes, we'll go downstairs to the legendary New York Stock Exchange trading floor to ring the opening bell. The history here, the tradition, it's just incredible for us to be at this moment.